Hi, welcome to Mystic Frequency. I'm Lisa, and I'll be your pick-a-pile tarot reader here today. And we're going to discuss what innovational change that you are stepping into today under this new moon in Aquarius and the annular eclipse that is creating this fire ring around your life today. And anytime that we have new moon in Aquarius, we are trying to bring love into the situation, no matter what situation that may be in our life. And we are expecting powerful changes with this new moon eclipse. But you are more than welcome to dive into the timestamp below, and especially if you have already selected your pile for this reading. I will emphasize that this last pile will only be on my Patreon account, and it's one way for me to help support the channel, purchase more cards, and create more content for my viewers. And so just be aware that this is one way to kind of like help this channel grow if you felt called to this pile but don't feel any pressure. There are 4 other piles here that you can choose from today. And I am also going to go ahead and get my disclaimers out of the way before I talk about some of the facts that are going on with this new moon. Always remember that I can only give personal experiences, not professional advice, and really whatever the guides are coming through to kind of share about this energy coming through. So you are in charge of the wheel at all times in your hands, and this does not mean this is the only action that you should take. You should understand your situation a little bit more than I would and know what it is that you are currently going through. And if you start to feel like a pile is not resonating for you, there are other piles here that you can choose from, and I encourage it. But if you find that there's nothing here to resonate for you, then think about the people that may be around you that would benefit greatly from this reading and just share it with them. I encourage sharing anytime it can help someone. And then lastly, you could always take this as a tool for your belt, a tool pile. And there are so many piles here to choose from today. But let me go ahead and talk about new moon energy and what you can expect if you are still here, if you haven't just jumped into a pile already. So new moons, they talk about new beginnings, a fresh start, and allowing for profound introspection to come through. It's the time to plant seeds, to set intentions, to initiate new projects, and to even break habits. And this is also a good time to do some shadow work or tap into anything that your mind has desires, or if it has desires, or if there's a truth that's trying to unveil itself. Dream work, scrying, anything that can really help you tap into that part of yourself. Now, with new moon being in Aquarius, this is a blank canvas for unconventional ideas and reinventing your personal path. So this is the unconventional path, the unconventional idea, the path that no one takes, either because they are scared to do so or it's just not something they've seen done before. This is someone that really invokes change by being the change itself that gets the wheel going. And this is all about aligning your personal vision with the greater good. Aquarius, and I love that Aquarius is coming through quite frequently. In a lot of my readings, I have felt this energy, and these are my people that want to help progress the future. These are my innovators, my people who are involved with technology or even science of any kind, or they're the people that have these thought-provoking beliefs that really test other people and how they perceive the world. And this is talking about not being stuck in a box, stepping outside of that box, especially if that mold doesn't fit, or if you start to see that there are injustices going on in your life and you are wanting to fix them or rebel against those injustices. But this is talking about your role within society, your friends, your shared goals. This is a long-term change. So think about those intentions that you need to set that are going to create that change that you need. And this is releasing structures and communicating what needs to be said. Now, with the annular eclipse specifically, I talked about that ring of fire. So this, it's like you are being put in the center of this fire, and the only way to get out of it is to let the burn happen. Let yourself, transform what you need to. Or talking about that box, moving to that ring of fire. This is somewhere where you want to be, where you want to create powerful changes in your life. And this is, this is accelerated change. It is very intense. So what is the focus that each of these piles is going to focus on? Well, a little bit what I've talked about with the new moon and the annular eclipse. We're going to look at the theme of the new moon with each of these cards. Now, each one of these piles actually has 2 crystals, but I am revealing the one that called to me the most today to assist you with your choosing. And then we are going to look at a star seed starter, almost a blank canvas for you, so that way you can determine what it is that you need to plant. And then we're going to look at your role within your community as an innovator and how you make an impact. Then the structures that are around you that are being released, or what you are rebelling against. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is these angels affirmations, or even spiritual affirmations that are coming through with this moon to kind of like assist you. But before we dive in, because I always like to do benevolent intentions and breath work with my big readings like this, you are more than welcome to, like I said, jump into that timestamp if you'd like to kind of skip this. But I always like to add an emphasis on benevolent intention so you receive the right information and it gives you more time to look at what's going on. So, benevolent spirit guides, ancestors, divine creator, and highest good versions of ourself, please bring guidance on what innovational change the listeners are stepping into during this new moon cycle. Help them find the pile that resonates to their frequency and leave what doesn't for another to find. Help them find the role that they have in their community and society as a whole, and help bring those affirmations that'll help push and nudge them further. But with much love and appreciation from your students and teachers. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our breath work. Now, when we are doing our 3 deep breaths, we are focusing on the pile, or even the intention that we are thinking of. And then we are going to release what we need to in order to accept more change or information in. So let's go ahead and do that first breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, my dears, if you're ready to select your pile, I'll see you on the other side. Hello, pile 1. Or if you're coming in from another pile, welcome again. So let's go ahead and look at the crystals that are here for this card, and I'll focus first on the one that you chose. So I do want to emphasize how I have drawn this card before, but I never noticed that there was this butterfly on the center of this crystal, or maybe that's just an illusion, but I do sense that there is a need to go through some sort of metamorphosis with this new moon, or even transform or prevent yourself from feeling as if you're always going to be within a cocoon. And I just recently watched a movie with my husband that was from my childhood, and it was like Warriors of Virtue or something like that. And in the scene, there is a cook who is very close with the child and has a connection with him, and he lets his almost like student, I wouldn't say student, but his friend go up to the loft because he lived in this restaurant, and the the boy was very interested in this glass that had this cocoon that was empty, and it was sitting on cotton. And he grabs it and he's looking at it, and he sits down with the boy and says, I've had that cocoon for probably, as old as you were, because he was like in his 20s and the boy was like 8. So he had it for a very long time. And the boy's like, well, where did it come from? And the the man then says, well, when I was walking home from school one day, I noticed there was something wiggling on the ground, and I decided to pick it up. And when I held it against the sunlight, I seen that there was a butterfly that was trying to get through, but it was struggling. So I decided to open the cocoon up to help it, and it flew as soon as I did that. And the boy was like, oh, wow, what happened after that? And then he says, well, sadly, even though that butterfly took off, it ended up dying as soon as it hit the air and fell down. And he talked about there is a reason why we need to go through certain struggles in our life, or obstacles, or things that are supposed to help us grow. And when we prevent ourselves from fully growing in that situation, we are ultimately killing ourselves in the process and making it even harder for us to survive down the road. And I felt like I needed to talk about that with your pile specifically. So think about anything that is supposed to be helping you grow and nurture you, and not try to force it, not to try to speed up the process. Actually take this in so that way you can take the benefit of everything going on, because that's what your spirit guides are trying to show you while this flame is around you, because there is a powerful change that is going on, and it is going to be, at times it's going to feel unbearable. It's going to make you question your role in society and whether or not you have something to give. But don't let someone be the thing that forces you to grow in that instant. You need to be the one that actually wants to step out of that cocoon and spread your wings. So we have amber: warmth, regeneration, grounding. Exuding warmth and electrical charge, amber was believed by the Chinese to encapsulate the soul of the tiger when it dies. With a rich history, amber was used as a protective talisman dating back to ancient times, technically comprised of tree resin that has been fossilized. Amber is used for grounding higher energies back to earth. When rubbed, it can become electrically charged, dispelling negativity and igniting desire. Amber is used as a purifier, cleansing the environment and chakras alike. Use amber to electrify your life. And we have Sun in Leo and Sun in Aquarius. So actually wanting to feel as if you do want to step out in front of an audience and not being forced to do so. And when you find that you have a purpose or a calling, or you see that there is an injustice in your life that you actually want to speak on behalf, like you don't want someone to say what it is, that you think that you can deliver that message and actually assist your community or your beliefs that you have. But you are in a phase where you are regenerating and you are coming back from some kind of wounding that has happened in your past. And this is the new moon coming in to kind of like help you get ready to plant a seed. And yes, we're talking about, that fossil that it was talking about, something that was, you thought may have been buried and long lost, but underneath the changes that have been occurring all around you, you may have, like this skeleton or even this amber. It makes me think of the Jurassic Park series with the fossil that really helps them recreate all sorts of different animals. And I mean, we are seeing that even today, where we have genetically evolved, dire wolves, and we're starting to do that with the woolly mammoths. And it's like taking a piece of your past and not genetically, oh, well, in theory, you are changing something. You're changing the DNA structure of your body, and trying to bring it to life today. Because you find that if you were to put a T-Rex in today's time, you wouldn't be able to survive for very long. So that's what you're getting ready for, is you're trying to find ways to survive with this transformation that is going on. Because you don't want to, like, if I were to be thrown back into the past, let's go further down in England, where even though they're speaking English, you don't understand a single thing that they are saying. So it's like ultimate demise here, but wanting to feel as if you are a part of a time period. Then for your second crystal, we have wolfenite. And I'm so glad I didn't even think about this being wolfenite, and I was talking about the dire wolves. That's cool. Journey, past life, soul contracts. The journey has only just begun. Wolfenite can travel through your past, present, and future, and opens up communication with the spirit world. It also aids in past life recognition, helping you to see soul contracts that you've made in this lifetime, facilitating the karmic reunion, and completing a cycle once the lesson has been learned. Wolfenite is a powerful past life healing stone, resolving any issues that need to be faced and regaining magic lost in past lives to be used here and now. We have Venus in Sagittarius and Mars in Sagittarius. So being a leader of your own life to create more beauty and balance, and being willing to fight for the things that you want to actually have, that you want to recreate. Things that really made your life more happier, really. But I am in love with these two stones because they are syncing up real well with each other and creating that electrical charge that you need to really get your heartbeat going in this situation. But I want to go ahead and start talking about your starseed starters, or your innovation starters. So we have forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. Don't look for someone to show you the wave you need to surf in on. Don't wait for permission, because this card is wanting you to be the one that starts the change. You may have been looking for the road, the sign, this is where you should go. I've already done this. Here, follow me. That's not what your innovation is speaking in this moment. Your seed is something new and unique. Even though it is something that you can pull from your past, it has a benefit of affecting the future in a positive way. So think about any kind of old things that you have discovered. And, I have been watching the show American Pickers of recently, and how they have been taking, they've been going into these picks or in these old buildings, and they're finding these well-preserved things that haven't seen the light of the day in almost 100 years. So think about what those could be in your life and how you can recreate that. Maybe there's a toy in your childhood that you would kind of like to see brought back to the market, or getting kids out of the house again is another thing I just heard, where they can watch, things actually go through their cycles in front of them. But don't wait for someone to start something or say something about something you feel called to do yourself. And if you feel that you are misrepresented in society in some way, shape, or form, or even those you really love, and it's just like they don't have a perfect place for them, create that perfect place for them. That's a big job to have. But you can do this so long as you are bringing that love into the situation. You're doing it because there's someone you love and you want to share their story. You want to, maybe whoever is misrepresented in your life. This can talk about a culture that is not represented right, or certain stigmatism. Oh my goodness. People who can't see, I feel your pain at night. Whatever that may be, but Find ways to be the pioneer of that, but forge, don't follow, because there's something here you're on. The other star seed starter that you have is deep cellular healing, Arcturus healing, physical and emotional healing. This is, your body knows how to heal as long as you allow it to heal. Whatever pains that you have seen in the past, whether that be through messy relationships, messy work relationships, but think about the times that you were able to get back up and get back at it again. You may have thought that this was the end for you, that you weren't going to be able to break out of the resin, or the resin prison, if you will, but you can, especially if you have been letting another spiritual creature, spiritual being really lead your life for you, and you've been on autopilot mode. Now's your time to get out of that and actually take the wheel in your hands and do the healing that is necessary. Do the karmic healing that is there. If you know there is a whole bunch of generational traumas that your family has, be the one that starts working on whatever that may be. And one key thing, if you don't know if you do have generational trauma, look at your parents, your great grandparents, and see if there is a cycle of loss, of constant change, ruin, or sabotage, where your family may have sabotaged their own ability to be financially stable, or the way that they allowed their children to express themselves and mold, or allowed their children to heal when they needed to heal, and not force them to get back up and get at it again when they needed to be taken this time within their own cocoon. But now that we've looked at your star seed starters, because when you're planting this seed, forge, don't follow, you are allowing yourself to heal, and you are also letting other people heal too that need to. You're being patient with them. Your role in society, and this is a very particular role that this was pulled. It is far more different than the other piles. But you have a special bond with animals. Your pets on earth and in heaven are watched over by angels. So your role may not be one where you are lifting, the human experience, but you're trying to help animals also be able to evolve and grow and not be left behind. This is one of those things where you have a special understanding and can relate with animals and their pains. You may notice when there are endangered species and you actually feel a call to want to do something for those animals. This makes me think of Steve Irwin, which may be whoever's listening to this if you don't know who Steve Irwin is, but he was a big advocator over understanding animals and making the most frightening creatures not as frightening. But he ended up passing away due to an animal, the stingray, if I recall correct. He was swimming with stingrays and he had gotten stung by one of them, and that's a very rare thing that could happen. And even then, a lot of people wanted to go after the stingray and make an example of it, really. But Steve would have never wanted that, because they are beautiful creatures and he was in their environment. And you have a lot of respect for all sorts of different animals, insects, you name it. And you want to be others even to respect those environments that they are in. And this is, you may even want to give a home, a shelter, or bring connection awareness like Steve Irwin did. And you may even find that you enjoy, these roles where you may be healing or studying specific animals. You may want to do like veterinary work, or, nurses and doctors over, anything, or a zoologist even. It's those kind of things. And even if you are not one of those things, because I do have this card that talks about something that has been fossilized, you may want to look into archaeology and connecting with a past that is no longer here. But this is helping you train others to have more respect for not just themselves, but nature overall and animals. And you may even be someone that I can see this being someone that helps rehome these animals. But if, like I used to have a dog that was part of the aggressive breed clan. And the only thing my pit bull was a house hippo. That was it. She cared so much about love and affection and being a lap dog, even though she was so big. And so you were changing people's perception of, you know, things that people say are scary. German Shepherds, what's another one? Great Danes, those kind of animals, and showing them what really matters is how much love you put into this animal and guide it through its growth and not forcing it to, not really beating it, but not forcing it to grow into something that it's not meant to grow into, and showing other people how to train their pets, or the right way to give them the right energy. My sister has a German Shepherd husky mix, lots of energy, very vocal. So understanding what it is that you're getting into, so that way we can prevent so many more animals from being in a hostile environment, or potentially being put down because, animal shelters are becoming overcrowded. These are those roles that you can have in society. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only thing that you can do, but this is a calling that would work real great with you if you haven't thought about a role that you could have and create a sustainable lifestyle even with this. But let me go ahead and put this down here. I need to put that off to the side. And I want to look at the long-term intentions that are going to be coming through for you. That we have the Fool, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Wands that are coming through. And and I did have these kind of like arranged in a different way, but I'm going to talk about them as they are. Long-term intentions are being okay when you need to begin something new, and trusting your instincts when you see that there is an opportunity to grow, and being positive that even if all you have is the bag on your back, you can actually begin because you're not carrying any baggage near you. And noticing when the sun is coming out, that's the best time to really take advantage of these adventures that are going on in your life. Or even when you are planting something, you don't necessarily have to watch what it is that you are planting. You can focus on other areas of your life that you would like to explore. And maybe there are challenges and obstacles along the way, but you are trusting that this is something that you intend to do in the long run, is beginning and growing and nurturing this plan for your path. And you may want to bring a travel companion with you. So we have a little dog down here. So whoever that may be, and that could be one thing that you can speak out on, is people who are worried about, stepping out in the public and they're more at home. Well, bringing their companion with them gives them that freedom that they need and to be able to trust. This almost makes me think of a blind person who has a walking stick, who now has regained their ability to explore the world, even if all they see is this black nothingness. But you're giving them that, they can actually do more with their life and not just be disabled by something that they may have thought was a burden in their life. The Nine of Swords makes me think of, this is something support animals can help with. And, they can help with anxiety, they can help with worry, fears, any kind of depression, maybe even nightmares that are going on. But this is you taking the high ground since she is on the roof and confronting what your subconscious is trying to tell you. And you have this globe that is in your hands, and this can talk about lunar cycles where you are releasing what you need to or planting what you need to so that way you can manifest more in your life. But you are looking at where you need to put your focus more in your life and being mindful of every thought that comes through. So the Four of Swords, taking that rest when you need to, letting go and forgiving any kind of betrayal that may have occurred in your life, and then finding ways to think more clearly about the decision so that way you can trust your intuition. But you want to bring in more fulfillment in your life where you are no longer stuck in bed. You can actually get up and do what you need to do again, and live an actual living an actual good life is what I'm hearing, where you don't feel as if you're in rags, if you will, because that kind of looks like a rag dress. But, you are trusting, you're actually putting your heart forward and letting the divine to come in so that way you can actually deal with these worries. And I do have a connection that I would like to share about this Nine of Swords since we did have the animal card. Y'all had a lot of symbolism just for your pile alone that I channeled. When I worked in retail, I worked with a man who had served our country, and there was an incident that had happened where I want to say he was in a tank of some sort and it had filled up with gasoline, and he ended up almost dying from drinking in gasoline before someone had pulled him out of the tank. And after he had served the country and left, he suffered from PTSD, and he would have these night terrors where he could physically see himself drowning and drinking in gasoline again. And the only thing that he has found that ever helped him is when he adopted a oh gosh, it was some kind of poodle, a real small, cute Yorkie looking poodle. And she would sit on his chest, and she was trained to do this, to notice when he would go through night terrors. And anytime he'd find himself in a night terror, she would sit there and start pawing at his chest to wake him up. And he had found that he was able to get better sleep because of this companion that he had in his life. But the Five of Wands, another long-term intention is letting the fight go. You're giving up the fight now and finding ways to create more stability in your life where you are picking and choosing your battles wisely. And you are no longer allowing for tension to come in and prevent you from winding down. And, that healing that needed to come through is like when someone wounds you, you don't automatically feel like you need to dig the wound even deeper. It makes me think of Chiron, the the one that flies next to Pluto. Oh my goodness. But Chiron is Pluto's moon, I believe. And it's the wounded healer. It's you've gone through so much, and know that the only way you're going to be able to heal this is by healing the wounds that you are inflicting yourself that are causing these cycles of anxiety and depression. But this can even talk about seeing the benefits of diversity and how the more diverse something is, the more assistance, solutions, and creative, how do I say this? More assistance. You get, it's more like when you have a team of doctors that are experienced in all different things, by adding another well-trained doctor to this formula, you are now able to break through something. You're able to change something. There are not too many vets out there, I would say. Yes, we do have vets, but I feel like that is a field that we don't have very many people studying for because of the pay and the lack of supplies and people's viewpoint on, helping an animal when it's broke its leg or when it has cancer even. I didn't even realize, cancer is on the rise with our dogs and our cats and all of our animals. But finding ways to work through any kind of, or when someone comes in and they have an opinion on what it is you are doing, not spending your time thinking about that opinion or needing to fight this person over it. You're not becoming dogmatic where you limit yourself from gaining more information that can come through here. But even if you start to feel as if you are competing, sometimes competitiveness can really make you want to put your best foot forward and compete against yourself versus competing against others. The structures that are being released, we have lessons and blessings. It is taking all of these obstacles that we thought were just obstacles and actually looking at them as a blessing in disguise. It's not feeling frustrated and trying to speed up time when we are in a process of needing to grow. It's letting a conflict settle rather than kicking it up again and putting it up in the dust. So that way you don't feel the need in order to stay on top of this roof. You can watch people kind of like let it settle and let them go on their own journey. So that way you can begin again on yours. It's not constantly bringing up the past. It's utilizing the past so it can propel you forward. Your 3 affirmations from your angels, your spirit guides that are coming through is you are fun, even when you are serious, even when you are healing and need to step away for the time being, even when you have to be the one that is forging a path. You are fun, and you are creating a sense of wonder with those that are around you who want to actually follow behind you because they see that you light up whenever you are doing the things that you love. You are love. Yes. Okay. Yes, you are. You are love, because it's not just, relationships, human relationships, it's animal relationships. You see love for everything, nature, trees, the river, rocks, whatever the case may be. You see love, and you are love. You are the definition of love. And bring love into the situation. Bring that definition of love into this, and know that you are successful, even when you lose. Even when you fail something, you are still successful. Even when there's a lot of tension in the room that is forcing you to compete, it's almost like your soul has already won something here. And now that it has, these powerful changes are coming through. But my dears, that is your reading. Please let me know how it resonates in the comments, or if there's anything in here that may have been insightful for you, or if you are someone that connects with animals, let me know what your favorite animal is that you love to be around. But I'm going to go ahead and get on over to the next pile. Hello, pile 2. Welcome, and welcome if you're coming in from another pile. I'm excited to see what is being innovated for you. But let's go ahead and look at the first crystal that you felt called to dive into this reading. And we have the Ethiopian Opal, Rebirth, Portal, Desire. Reflecting the beautiful parts of your soul, Ethiopian Opal is a crystal filled with bright flashes of color and revitalizing energy. Full of joy, Ethiopian Opal is a high vibrational stone, able to soothe the soul and bring harmony to mind, body, and spirit. Ethiopian opal can burn unhealed karma from the past and clear the path for a rebirth, like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, containing a soul holograph. Ethiopian opal gives access to a different timeline in your life from the past, present, and future. Give all parts of yourself the love that you desire. We have Mercury in Virgo and Mercury in Sagittarius. So being able to put detail in any area of your life that needs a little bit more emphasis, and being able to communicate your standards that you have. And then we have Sagittarius, so we have this need to learn and grow and communicate what it is that we are learning. But I love this crystal, and I forgot that it was Ethiopian opal, because I've recently been watching documentaries in different countries, seeing all sorts of different cultures, and you may even feel called to do that for yourself if you haven't. But if you have never looked at the country Ethiopia, please do. Oh, they are so culturally rich, and it is not just one type of culture. There are so many different types of culture in that country, and it is rich in so much history. I mean, it's one of the first places where even our ancestors, we can see that they have their handprints on old mountains, if you will. So if you haven't, I encourage you to really look at it and see if you can connect with a part of your past that way. And then over here we have this beautiful pink egg, lapidolite. Transition, release, change. Change is coming, and lapidolite is the perfect crystal to help you with those transitions. By becoming aware of bad habits and patterns, we can release them to make room for new ones that sustain a healthy lifestyle. Lapidolite helps us let go of attachments to old behaviors and addictions, clearing away emotional ties to the stories we tell ourselves. Lapidolite encourages self-love in all levels, even if we need to step away from our current way of doing things, as just so that way we can establish that trust. Write the story you want to live. And we have Jupiter in Libra and Neptune in Libra. So finding ways to expand and grow in areas that need more balance, that need more justice, and being able to work through anything that may be in the back of our minds that are, causing those self-limiting beliefs even. But powerful change is coming through for you guys, and I love that. And I feel the adventure in you. But let's look at your starseed starter for this journey. We have whale and orca elders. Share your song. Frequency of sound, diving deep. And this card wants you to find ways to anchor your frequency and bring love to depth, like actually bringing love all the way deep down to all parts of your body, and how you can bring it to other relationships around you. But sharing your song is really important here. You have something that you are wanting to sing to the world, and you have the ability to see beyond the physical, the wounds, the identity and personality, the story that people tell themselves. You are able to see beyond all that. It's like you are someone that can see past someone's BS, and you can call it out and say, you're not being really true and authentic with yourself, are you? Or are you being true and authentic with me? But this is a card that says share your truth and leave any kind of baggage at the door, so you can create new situations for you and your life. And not letting your doubts be what determines your worth or how people view your worth. You are defining it for yourself, and you're also giving people the ability to do that for themselves by letting them sing what it is that they need to do. Now, you may find that and I love that I'm thinking of people who plant a seed and they sing to the seed, and by doing so, it makes it more more fruitful, more prosperous, because it was given extra support in order to grow in the environment that it is in. And it makes me think of how farmers are using music so that way their cows produce more milk because they love melody. Finding that melody that is right for you is what I'm feeling, is like, what kind of melody are you planting to make you be able to grow in this situation. Now, the role that you have within your community, we have Akasha. You are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to counsel others and help them awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life mission. This is, you may have a role already in someone that is a teacher or a counselor of some kind that gives guidance, advice, or clear communication or messages. This is someone can that has a way with their words. You're able to write, you may be able to speak in front of people, or even give your own workshops. And this is helping others talk about their fears, their hopes, any kind of confusion and insecurities that they may have, or the dreams that they keep to themselves, they are openly sharing with you. But you are being a coach that is helping push others through their doors. And I should have went ahead and did this, but I forgot that your pile had two roles within your community. But we have Archangel Gabriel here. You have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. Anytime a door is opening up for you, don't question it. Actually walk through it. And this is, whenever I was talking about the whale being able to see beyond the physical or people's identities or the story they tell themselves, that is the one way in which you are helping people find their true, authentic selves, or even, have the courage to do that for others as well. It's like, this is the seed that keeps on giving. And if you are a teacher or a counselor or someone that just helps people work through their mind and untangle the web so that way they can work through their past issues, those karmic life lessons that they may have thrown themselves into, thank you so much for having that role in your life and being able to propel people forward and put an emphasis on the need to heal the mind or understand the mind and why we think and do the things we do, whether that be through behavioral studies or seeing how certain environments help nurture a child's future, or if it limits and prevents a child from being able to move forward. But thank you so much if you are already a part of that role, or if you have not discovered this role yet and you just needed a confirmation in what should I be doing with my life. Well, you're already doing that, for one. Just by people getting to know you, they are not just learning about you and what you do, but they are discovering aspects of themselves that they may have buried. You are helping people do their shadow work. But you have a role of communicating with others. We had Mercury in Virgo. You are helping people teach how to break cycles or thought patterns. I actually have a book that talks about when you are finding that you are cycling through a specific thought, start making a web where you put that thought down and you start to question, well, why do I think that of myself? Why do I keep singing the same song? And then you will be able to create, well, this was because this person said it, and it may be a parent, a grandparent, or a cousin, sister, brother, whatever the case may be. And then the next web would be, well, why do I need to care about what this one person said? Why does it affect my ability to be able to move forward? Or can I start changing the way I perceive myself? But This is my counseling group. I will say, even if you aren't a counselor, you are counseling others. And the long-term intentions that you will be taking with you, we have the Magician, the Ace of Swords, and we have Death. Now, the Magician, one of the things that you are taking with you is understanding that you are resourceful. And you see that not all medicines are going to cure one specific disease. So you have to be able to play with what will work best with this situation. And you are also discovering that so long as you believe that you have the resources in order to be successful, then you will be able to pursue in your journey and not feel as if you are lacking, or that you don't have the creative thoughts or the creative breakthroughs, or that you don't have the financial well-being in order to do what you need to do. But you are very divinely protected no matter what road or role that you do decide to take in this life. But you already have an ability to connect to others with their emotions, to connect to their mind, and to help them see the impact that they have on the way that they view money. And by you being an example and showing others how to not having have an un or not to have an unhealthy relationship with materialistic values, by creating a healthy image of what is truly important to you and makes you feel successful, and creates a, where you are giving and receiving what it is that you are putting out there in the world. But this is a card that talks about manifestation, and finding that you hold the power in any kind of situation that you put yourself in. And by understanding the power you have, you are taking the action to enable the outcome that you are looking for. But with the Ace of Swords, this is breakthroughs. You're helping people have breakthroughs, and you're having them for yourself, and helping new ideas to come in and foster growth and provide mental clarity, so that way people can start being more successful with the way that they communicate with others. And you have a way of making sure that your communication channel is constantly open and not blocked off, so people can consistently go to you anytime they feel that they need a recipe for whatever it is that they are working on. And having, not blocking off what it is that you're trying to sing. So making sure that your throat chakra and your heart space are open, so that way they can communicate back and forth with each other. And then this, with the Death card coming through, is understanding when something needs to end, or when you need to go through some kind of change or transformation, or even to help others work through their own transitions, such as when they are moving, or they find that through like a crisis of some sort, or a job has ended in their life, helping them be able to find ways to work through those transitions, so that way it doesn't keep them up at night. And but all of these together, it's letting the ideas you have create the breakthroughs to inspire action, to create change, and end what no longer brings success. I'm sorry, my throat keeps closing up. Looking in your tool belt for the right magical transformation that is needed, and to help others learn how to rebirth with power and actually want to do this change, where they see you do it, like you go through these rituals yourself, and it makes them want to do it for themselves, because they see how you end up glowing a different way, and how you are able to really take advantage of anything that is thrown your way, and not closing yourself off, or when you find that you need a little bit more help, that you are actually asking for that. You are looking to those. If you don't know the answer to something, you are looking for that answer, so that way you can come back to that person and say, I don't have the key to this door yet, but I know someone that may be able to provide that key for you, and channel, and opening up your community by doing that. But your long-term intentions are seeing that you have power behind all the things that you manifest and all the things that you have ended, so that way you can put something new in front of you. The structures that are being released: karmic relationships. And I love that this is coming through, because this did talk about karmic relationships. So a karmic relationship is something that is very intense, and sometimes it can be very volatile, or you find that you're constantly starting and stopping, or starting and stopping, or you just have these intense battles, these fights, or this is something that, goes on for a long period of time. And unless it is resolved, you can find yourself trying to manifest it again in another life, or a little bit down the road from your future. It's like, it's hard to put it to an end. So karmic relationships are being released from your structure, so you can have a fulfilling relationship where things are reciprocated, and you are not having to fight for your worth or fight for the ability to use your words. You can actually communicate what you need to, and it not feel as if someone has to have the last word, and actually end it, so that way you can pick up the next battle that you need. But this is also talking about the structures that other people have that you are able to help them with. This makes me think of divorce counsel or abusive relationships, or people who have had certain addictions that they've had a relationship with. You are able to help kind of counsel them through that. The affirmations your spirit guide want you to know is, I am beautiful, I am kindness, and I am abundant. These 3 affirmations are going to help your star seed really take off and see that your words do bring abundance to others. And if you find that you are not able to share your wealth, at least the knowledge you have does. But I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here, my dears, and go ahead and jump over into the next reading. You are more than welcome to choose another pile, but please let me know how it resonates, and what are your viewpoints on being a spiritual teacher of your own? Let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and jump on over into the next pile. Hello, pile 3, and welcome if you are coming in from another pile. Let's go ahead and look at what the theme behind this new moon is talking about. So that is beautiful, I will say. So we have Moonstone, nurturing, divine feminine, intuitive. Drawing power from the divine feminine, Moonstone connects you to goddess energy, activating your intuition. Moonstone can boost clairvoyant gifts and metaphysical powers, asking you to trust the unknown. Beyond what you can see in this realm, the reflective nature of the crystal is much like the moon phases themselves, a cycle of change from new beginnings to full release. Moonstone balances masculine energy and the feminine touch, teaching the art of receptivity and serendipity. It is especially potent during the waxing moon. We have moon in Cancer, Libra, and Scorpio. Finding ways to release what you need to, and being able to find more balance and justices in your life, especially when you are tapped into your intuition or start to feel as if your shell is becoming really brittle, or even if people are not letting you take care of your own needs. But I love that this is a card that is talking about nurturing and really tapping into your intuition, your ability to go with the flow and to create things in your life, and not letting it, stagnate or feeling as if you need to take control of things. Then over here, we have this Septarian stone, which is direction, fearless communication. Known as the Dragonstone, Septarian instills fierce confidence and self-esteem, especially in front of an audience. However, as much as it improves your public appearances, it also protects your privacy, guarding your secrets and valuing your inner peace or your inner space. Incredibly grounded and connected to the earth, Septarian can pinpoint illnesses in the body and focuses on listening to the body's needs by building a strong relationship with it. The name Septarian comes from the Latin word septum, or seven, signifying the pattern of seven on the exterior of the crystal. We have Sun in Taurus and Sun in Sagittarius. So Sun in Taurus, being able to be persistent and not dig up what it is that you have buried already, and being patient with the process and trusting that you will come into, you will have information come in and really help you learn and expand so that way you can be a leader of your life and bring more positivity to while we're at it, because Sagittarians are very positive. They don't let life beat them down, and they just have a way of, even when the Taurus can be very stubborn and stuck in its ways, at least with Sagittarius, they're going to help them look to new ways to go about a specific task or routine that they have. But let's go ahead and look at your starseed starter. And we have the 7 star sisters, birthing creations, tapestry of life and expression. And you may even feel really close to the number 7. And before I did your reading, I've had way too many confirmations about that number. I was making mac and cheese for supper one day, and a part of the box had tore off, and I didn't even notice. And it fell in my water, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I needed to scoop it up. And then when I picked it up, and it was like, oh, that's the number 7. Once again, this is before your reading. And then in my charm basket, I was over there putting it up, and I noticed one of my magic die was on the number 7, and then your cards came through with that emphasis. So if you don't know what numerology 7 is, it's reflection, assessment, and knowledge. So being able to reflect on our past mistakes or reflect on the things that we have done or started, and being able to make an assessment on whether or not we need to make those adjustments and, learning from it. But the 7 star sisters is basically, it's the expression in which you are living your life, and whether or not you have the ability to flow with it. This can talk about, now birthing creations, this can talk about new businesses, books that you were thinking about writing or even reading. This can talk about your home life or even the recipes that you are creating. But you are not letting someone create the web for you. You are the one that is putting the detailed attention into it, and staying positive. I just keep hearing that, is staying positive with the process. And you may feel very close to your own family sisters even. So think about any kind of, if you are a business person, if you have a connection with your family, that can really help you bring in something new, out of the box thinking, or even bringing in your own family in on this would benefit greatly. But there's a need to be able to express something that is trying to be born and not letting it be withheld. It's like, how do I say this? Someone puts a canvas in front of you, because this is what this card is talking about, is it's a time for an empty canvas and creating something on that canvas, or are you going to let it stay blank? The star seed is wanting you to really think about, what has occurred before you and how can you utilize that to create something else. But I'm going to go ahead and look at the role that you have within your community and your family. So we have patience. Now is a time to learn, study, and gather information. Enjoy being a student because in the future you will synthesize your knowledge into action. You're helping bring patience to others and you're helping teach that so people don't feel like they need to rush the process, or when that they find that they have a creator's block, because that was so hard for me to talk about this card. It made me think of someone that has a creative block. You are showing inspiration either by taking them to whatever thing that they are interested in. So if they create art, then you're going to an art museum or looking at other people's art, and then that brings inspiration. Or if you find that you're trying to write a book and you just don't know what to write or what to speak, you go, you read your own favorite authors, or even you go to workshops that you feel inspired to speak in front of others. But this is having patience with the process and being okay when you start out, like the first thing you draw is a doodle, but then you build on that doodle and then eventually it gets better. But this also talks about gathering the essentials in order to create. If you don't have like say if you do want to draw, but you don't have a pencil, well, go get a pencil. Or if you don't know how to draw, it's, going online and looking at other people's, from beginnings to ends, and watching them trace, and then, trying to do what it is that they're doing, or even taking classes and watching them. And this can even talk about, reading up on things, meditating for some kind of inspiration to come through, or what it is that you would like to channel, and then going to experts or interviewing these experts on how they were able to do what it is that they did. But these are very unique talents that you have. And you can take these and blend them with the knowledge that you are synthesizing into a new and valuable way to bring peace in your life. So you already have something you are trying to create, and it's like, even though you can't do anything with it now, you can at least kind of like step away from it and then come back to it when you want to. Don't trash it, don't throw it away, don't catch it on fire. Just walk away from it, and then you will find, oh, there's something here that I can do. I actually have a painting that is sitting on my floor right now that I started 8 years ago. And it wasn't until about a month ago that I started painting on it again, just because I finally had inspiration that came through, because I've started practicing different styles, like Van Gogh style, like Starry Night. It's that kind of thing of letting it sit aside and then coming back to it. The long-term intentions that we have with your pile, we have the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, and then we have the 2 of Pentacles. It's okay. I just heard someone that has been persisting on this endeavor for quite some time now, and they've been carrying it around with them past their breaking limit, but they've been trying to push against the odds. And when you find that life comes in, or even spirit comes in, where you need to start balancing other things in your life, that's why you need to step away from it. My brother this makes me think of my brother, honestly. When he is so focused on something, at the expense of his own well-being, his ability to go to sleep, he's going to keep pushing at it until he finishes it. It's like he cares so much about finishing it that he forgets that he's actually on a journey itself. Like he forgets that he is climbing this mountain, and that he is, out here in this forest bonding with nature, and he has all these arrows that are being and I say these arrows, but this is like his family telling him he's gone solo for too long and he needs to return back from the woods. And these are all the messages that we have been sending him that he's been ignoring. And you may resonate with that kind of energy where when you are trying to complete something in your life or trying to bring balance to your life, you tend to do it alone. But your guides are wanting you to be very patient through this process, and if you need help while you are creating something, a project of whatever that may be, then ask for assistance. It's not cheating if you are, asking the expert of the thing that you are doing. You may have never went rock climbing, but and tried to do it yourself and discovered I probably should have came more prepared and made sure I had more resources like a backpack, coats, actual climbing tools. Or when you're going out into the woods, I need camping gear, I need a backpack, maybe I should have learned how to use a bow because all I have shot was trees. It's that kind of thing that I'm feeling is coming through. It is kind of funny when you have an idea in your head and then you leave before you have any kind of knowledge of that idea. So your guides are saying you need to study up before you start trying to kill yourself out in the world. And think of, the seven sisters. These all look like the same type of they look all alike. So this makes me think of somebody that plays a game, and it's like I have all of these lives in front of me, and it's just like one thing after another. Rather than trying to play life like a game, actually develop your skills here. But the 9 of Wands, it talks about persistence, being persistent in your intentions and having healthy boundaries to prevent others from coming in and, putting a thought in your head of you're dumb for wanting to climb that. It's like you had the courage in the moment to do it, and you're doing it here and having that the momentum behind each grasp that you have while also holding on to the load. It's like you're saying, they said I couldn't do this, but here I am, and I'm proving them that I can do this. And with the 10 of Wands, it's, hard work, and it's seeing that end goal. It's like, I know there is an end goal here. There's actually something here that I'm going to gain by going through all of this trouble. Is it being spiteful? I don't know. But this is someone that is trying to prove others, prove them wrong, that you can persist, that you do have, you have the fire in order to keep going through this. The Pentacles, I will say, it's like you are making sure you are managing your time better and making sure you are prioritizing the right thing and being adaptable to any kind of situation here. And I just can't help but feel like being adaptable, meaning adapting to the situation. Once you realize that this is too much, then you come back to it again with the right equipment. I just can't get over these arrows, but it's like you're not letting people try to take a shot at you and letting it make you want to run farther from any kind of problem that you have in your life. You're actually facing your problems, and that's one of the intentions that I just got just now. But you're climbing obstacles. Oh my goodness. You're climbing obstacles, and if you need to bring love into the situation, it's allowing others to come in and not see what it is. They're saying things because they love you, not to hold you back, but just to make you more aware so you can make less risky moves in your life. Because they want you to understand that, this isn't a video game. You actually have, this one opportunity for this human experience. And just reflect on it, not prevent you from moving forward. These structures that are being released, and we have mother. And I didn't even think about this being channeled as a mother that has been very overprotective in your life, but this is a mother that may have not been very nurturing and forced you to have to go fend for yourself and go through all of these obstacles by yourself. This was probably a mothering kind of energy that really didn't share, didn't share the right wisdom. If that, it's like you were learning for yourself how hard life is, whereas it may have been a lot more different from your mom, or even letting go of, oh gosh. Do you see how she is she's more connected to one part of the family than you are, whereas you're not on the same chair with her. So it's kind of like that separation from your mother, even though you are very interested in what it is that she is reading to, I'm going to say this may be a sibling. And it makes me think of sisters and feeling connected with that feminine side of yourself. But it's like you can see that we are teaching something here in this moment. But what structures are you releasing, guys? Well, I feel like you're releasing outdated mother roles. You are defining who can be nurturing, and this may be a masculine role where you are proving that you can do anything that a mother can do at home and not have the same equipment, if you will. Like, you can do it. But this also makes me think of a worrying mother that's basically saying, now don't you go off into the woods by yourself. I've told you too many times about the story about Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and you're out there and you're like, well, I don't see any wolves. I guess what she said was false. Or she tells you, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can't hurt you. But you're carrying a lot of that energy with you, and it's like it's making it harder for you to move forward, or thinking about the responsibility she put on your shoulders versus someone else in your family, and that shouldn't have been your role only. There should have been some balance here. But let me go ahead and get the affirmations out here, because I can sit here all day talking about what it is I'm seeing and I'm feeling. But I feel like you may have looked up to a sibling of some sorts, or someone in your life you have looked up to and have noticed the differences in responsibilities that each of you have had, and the impact that it has made, or the fact that it has made you much more stronger because you were given so much more and you have the ability to prioritize more in your life, whereas your other sibling may not have had that ability to do so. But you're finding you're at a point in your life where you have to be patient with this role here, so that way you can be a student. You may be very knowledgeable. You've already been through all of these adventures and trials, and now you're trying to be like, well, oh God, I can't rush anybody to learn everything that I have. It took me time to do that. But we have, I am amazing, I am valuable, and I am energy. And I was getting that from this pile is boundless energy that tends to find issues sitting down to create something or finish a project. So your intentions is actually completing something that you are trying to create, and having the courage to do so and not throw in the towel. But everything you are doing is valuable. Even if you don't think it is, it is. And always remember that you are amazing. You are the only one that would get a card that looks like you would try to climb a mountain naked. But I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here. You're more than welcome to dive over into another reading and let me know if it resonates, how it resonates for you, and if you have a lot of love for your siblings. I grew up in a family of so I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, so I understand completely, if someone has more on their plate than the other, and how you can start delegating and showing how to pass off that responsibility and being okay with observing them, or even learning how they do something a little bit different than you. But I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, guys. Bye. Hello and welcome, my pile 4. And if you are ready to dive into what this new moon is innovating for you, let's go ahead. I don't know why it is, but every time I see this makes me think of cranberries. Or when someone has ice cream and they've got like all sorts of different fruits in it. So we have cinnabar, manifestation, wealth, inspiration. Known as the alchemist's stone, cinnabar is a crystal used to enhance metaphysical abilities, call in abundance, and manifest your heart's desire. Cinnabar's name originated from the Persian word meaning dragon's blood and refers to the tiny red gems sprinkled across the stone. This crystal is powerful in enhancing your life force, giving you the stamina you need to carry out your tasks and go after the things that can feel larger than life. Cinnabar grounds and encourages you while you reach beyond what you believed was possible. We have Mercury in Leo. So being able to communicate what kind of spotlight it is that you want to stand in, and be able to share that spotlight with others if you know that there are misrepresented individuals in society, and wanting to bring them more wealth and inspiration too in their life. But you're speaking up on something that is, very raw and authentic to you. And then we have this, it looks like a grapefruit to me. Rhodochrosite, relationships, healing, karmic lessons. Each and every pile I have done today has talked about a karmic lesson of some sort. So I feel like a lot of us are making big, powerful changes by releasing things that no longer serve us, or we find that we are repeating in our life. But compassion runs through the veins of rhodochrosite, reminding you of your worth and capacity for self-love. A healer of relationships, rhodochrosite opens your heart for healthy communication and breakthroughs. It can attract soulmates into your life, building connections that often feel karmic or fated. Every lesson is for your highest good. And with that perspective, know that whatever is happening for you, not to you. Rhodochrosite encourages you to express your feelings and reinforces that it is safe to share who you truly are. We have Mars in Leo and Mars in Scorpio. It is okay to share who you are, always. Especially on this channel, I just want my listener to be aware that, you have a place where you can, use your words of wisdom if you feel the need to do so. And like, if you ever see my comments fill up with people who are going through things, or if you just need someone to give you a little boost or encouragement to go step out on the stage, I'm going to be that person who helps support you that way. But let's look at the starseed starter for you. We have lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. This is letting you know to notice when things are not as they seem and calling them out. This can even talk about recalling or realigning yourself to a mold that you were supposed to put yourself in. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to be doing that with my soul contract in this life. Or even making me think of your ability to survive as a person, and recognizing that, oh my goodness, I just ate something and now my world is in different shades and hues. It makes me think of Alice in Wonderland, where you're going to a specific door, and each door has one tells the truth and one tells a lie, and trying to figure out which door do I need to open. I think that's also in Labyrinth. I could be mixing the two up, but being able to do the opposite of what is expected of you, and trusting that you are going to be able to find what it is that is on the other side of that veil. So I had made me think of pomegranates or even grapefruits, or just being able to trust that there is abundance on the other side. But this star seed is wanting you to scan your life for non-vibrational matches, things that are not, they're not syncing up to you, or they're causing resistance in your life, and protect your voice and those that need to have their voice protected. Sharing that spotlight with someone on the stage, or saying, and I have someone with me today that is very passionate about the cause that they have been promoting, and would like to voice what their own struggles were like whenever they had to go through them. And like you're opening the curtain so that way people can actually observe and watch what is unfolding in front of them. And you're not tolerating incongruent and unauthenticity. And if people are not going to be authentic with you, you will close the curtain really quick. And when they do decide to open up to you and they're true with themselves, then you will say, okay, have we learned our lesson? Or do I need to close the curtain again? Because I am not here to let people live their life with a fake purpose, or try to be fake in general. But you're trusting yourself while you are planting this. Now, the role that you have in society or in your own community, we have mystique. Keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. Your energy is very mysterious. People are not able to really see, that true side of you that is on the other side. And the only people who are allowed to are the ones that are authentic with themselves, or if there is a voice that needs to be heard, and you will usher them in and work with them on that energy. This is the role that you have is to show others to stop people pleasing, to stop, bending their own moral code or their own values or beliefs to fit a normal output, if you would. It's like society expects everybody to be like this. Society expects women and men to have these specific jobs in their life, or society is and it's like, stop bending to what society expects when I am my own person and I am my own unique soul. And you are, you're explaining your vision without needing to fight someone to believe what it is that you are explaining. And I think I talked about this in another pile. One of the things about Aquarius can be very hard is being dogmatic or aloof or distant from those that don't think like they do. And when you have a very strong opinion, make sure that you have information that you can share about whatever it is that you believe in, to the point where you don't stay stuck on that one thing. And I don't know if this is the pile that had, no, in my other pile there was one that had like a little bit of Taurus energy in there. But I have this horse that is charging ahead, who is in trust it's a unicorn, so it trusts its intuition and knows where it needs to go. And at times it may be in the dark, and it's okay with being there as long as it is truthful. But this is staying firm with your convictions. And yes, at times it's good to be very flexible because, situations are out of our control and we're having to kind of like bite down on the bullet whenever we are experiencing certain pains in our life. But Mystique is wanting you to know the difference between flexibility and bending. Bending, like think of a metal rod, you bend it and then you try to bend it back, and it has this indention in it, and now it becomes really weak. It has a weak point where if you were to bend it again, then eventually you would be able to break off a piece of that, and then it's no longer a part of you. And that's where you're trying to come in and share with the world of, be flexible with your mind, be flexible with your purpose, but not to bend or break off pieces of you that you feel are important, that prevent you from being able to bring love into the situation, that say that a powerful change is coming, but I need you to just go ahead and do the changing right now in this moment. Be patient with this change. The long-term intentions that are coming through, we have strength, the Page of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, I'm going to go ahead and talk about her. One of the intentions you have is unbiased judgment, where you can think with your mind and not let your heart be the one that makes the judgment call. Because when we let our heart do all the thinking for us and we don't trust the logic that is going on in our life, then it puts us in a situation where we are not being fair to ourselves or being fair to others around us, and we're telling people what we think they want to hear in the situation, and we're being very direct with what it is that we want to communicate. And this, if you are trying to step out in the spotlight or trying to bring attention to something that is in your life, one of the things that'll benefit you is writing down your thoughts, because we have the Page of Swords here, writing down your thoughts and letting any kind of new idea or whatever you are curious about, as if you had the mind of a child and it's exploring the world around it, that is making it feel courageous and more authentic. I don't know why, but this is making me think of somebody that ran through their house with underwear on their head and they were attacking their dog or their stuffies. It's like embracing that source of creativity if you're trying to write something. But the pages were normally scribes. They were the ones that, they wrote the message down and then, they handed it off to the king and queen. But you may be trying to find new ways to communicate, so that way, if you find that the Queen of Swords becomes very, opposite of what it would normally be, where you're very stern, you're very strict with what you're saying, and everybody can pick up on your energy and they're scared to approach you because they're terrified of the raw power that you have in your hands. They can see that you are carrying the weapon, and they also know that you don't even need that weapon in order to tackle the situation that is in front of you, that you could easily put that down and then wrestle a bear if you wanted to. But the long-term intention here, if I could stop getting off track, but this is, once again, being authentic with yourself. And when you need to persuade someone or create a specific type of influence in your life, you start by writing it down. or sending letters to those who might be interested in this cause that you may have, or help others see that there is a dilemma here. There is something that, requires a different form of action. Whereas in the normal Rider-Waite tarot, it shows a woman who is petting a lion, and that lion has developed trust in this person and doesn't want to hurt the person that it is next to. But, understanding your strengths is one thing. And, whatever you are strong or best at, if you're very good at communicating with others and not being harsh with your words, then let that be like your guide to help you lean in and charge ahead, and not letting people take. It's like if someone were to say, you send them a letter or a text and you're waiting for it to come back, and then they say, no, we don't want anything to do with it. Or if you gave someone a warning to stop doing the things that they are doing because it is hurting others, or if it's hurting you in particular, and they say, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and you're like, okay, well, let me just bring love to the situation here, if that makes sense. But your strength, like I said, you have the ability to influence those around you and make bears become very tame, or even just the way they read you in particular. It's like they feel your fierceness, but they also know that you are very loyal to your causes and your community and the things that you believe in. But you also have a thirst for knowledge here. And the more hungry you are to learn something or how to take care of your strength, the better you will be able to create more change in your life. Now, for the structures that are being released, we have transportation. Now, this is anything that has to do with feeling as if you are not going to be able to travel where you need to travel because you don't have the necessary funds, or it's like the message you have, how are you going to be able to transport it? Well, you are letting those limiting beliefs go and trusting that your message is going to reach those that you want it to reach. And that, if you're waiting for a train to come by, it's like, or even the road in which the train needs to go on, you're trying to get something off the ground. Are you trying to build the road here for this to come through? Are you the railroad builder, or are you the engineer of your life that can provide the movement that you need in order to get from point A to point B? You may be thinking of destination points, or I don't know why I keep going back to the strength card here, is if you have a fear of traveling, that is being, that's being dissolved, if you will, where you're finding the courage to, actually step out. Maybe you were scared to get on a plane or go for long car rides or get on a ship. Whatever that may be, is whatever limiting beliefs or fears you may have about transportation, you're letting them go and you're going to charge ahead with them. The self-affirmations that are coming through is, I am unique, I am excited for change, and I am mindful of this moment. Mindful of your words, your thoughts, your actions, and letting them guide you towards change, and being the advocate for change, really, and making people want to do that for themselves, and being okay with being very unique and trusting your intuition, because the lifting the veil makes me think of the High Priestess card, and not being scared of what it is that you see on the other side, or the experiences the experiences that you have in your life. You're not scared of them. Or if you were to see ghosts come up into your life, because these are skeletons, so this makes me think of somebody that can talk to ancestors or people who were very strong and opinionated in their life, and they never let people, dim the sun that they had. But I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here, my dears. Please let me know how it resonates. And if you enjoyed this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the next pile and head on over. And you are more than welcome to jump into another pile as well, guys. Bye. Hello. So this is pile five's outlook on this reading, and you are more than welcome to take as much time to determine if this is something that you want to dive into. But I have the cards all laid out, so that way if you kind of like wanted to tap into that kind of feeling, then you would. But that is ultimately up to you. Now, this crystal is quartz. So this reading talks a lot about areas in which you are growing, what you are aligning with, or what you are cleansing through. And the other crystal we have is Morganite, where you are finding ways to accept yourself and accept others, have more compassion, and to be able to release what you need to release in your life. And if this reading feels like it is going to call to you, I encourage you to go ahead and jump into the link below, so that way you can head on over into Patreon and get the rest of the reading. But I will say that this is a reading for someone that needs to understand that they do deserve the best. They really do, and they shouldn't limit themselves. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. If you enjoyed all of these readings, please let me know. And let me know if you head on over to the other side. But I hope y'all have a blessed day.